and welcome to the second hour of Agape FM, which is the interesting hour. Time is 25 minutes past the hour of 3 on the 3rd of... Oh, no, I'm so sorry. I feel like March is dragging.
Yes.
It is the 30th of March 2021, and it has been March forever and ever. Hence, I'm like manifesting the 3rd of April. So, yeah, as promised, and we always deliver, and we have our guest right here in studio, and he goes by the name of Isreal Simba. Raw Simba.
Pleased to meet you.
How are you doing?
Yes, I'm good. How about you?
I am also doing good.
Awesome.
So what I'm going to do, I'm going to quickly read his bio before we start with the interview, so you guys can just like get to know him a little bit better. Okay. So, Isreal Simba from the Democratic Republic of Congo lived in South Africa since the age of 5. He went from Johannesburg to Cape Town to Hankey, and from 2012 he came to Port Elizabeth. He is a youth leader at his church in windvogel. Faith International Mission here in the branch is here in Port Elizabeth, in leadership of his mother, Prophetess Edith Hadassah Simba. In short, he loves making a difference. We're going to talk about making a difference. So Isreal is a dancer, part of Ballet for You studio in Newton Park. He is a hip-hop and a freestyle dance instructor there. He is also a videographer, currently in line, applicant to study psychology, matriculated in Westering High School 2018 as a prefect and well-rounded in sports like rugby, tennis, soccer, and athletics. And if you're not watching on our Facebook Live, you are missing out. You should go and see. He looks like he plays sport. You can tell by just like looking at him that, okay, this is a sport man. Okay, dance is his main talent, but he also plays instruments such as the drums and piano. His passion is kids, the young generation, and inspiring them. Okay, so I feel like you are so much well-traveled in terms of you lived in Congo and then came to South Africa when you were 5.
Yes.
So you don't have like childhood memories of Congo, right? When you were 5?
Not that much. There's a few that I do remember. Like I remember some of my aunties, my uncles, which I don't even know the name. My mom would be like, "This auntie called," and I'll be like, "Who?"
So you haven't been to Congo since?
Yes, I haven't. I planned to one day, but I was like, let me finish my studies and then go back. Because most of my family are like across the world, like all of them.
Okay. So I was gonna ask
My
you.
families are travelers. Like, they travel around.
Like we can tell. So you went to Johannesburg.
Yes, for 2 months.
Okay, so it wasn't long.
No.
And then from Johannesburg you went to Cape Town.
And that's where I grew up.
Okay. So how was it growing up in Cape Town?
Cape Town, as a kid, we just, a 5 years old kid just moved into a new country and you're like, what's happening? Just imagine 5 years old. At that time I was like, wow, this is amazing. I'm in a new place, completely new place, completely different language from what I'm used to. And all in my mind was adapt, also trying to find acceptance, because I could, feel by my environments, a reflection that I was different, I am really different in the sense of whether it's race, the way I spoke, the way I composed myself, culture difference. So yeah, it was quite a lot to adjust to, but it's been an adventure, and I'm thrilled for the adventure.
Okay, at 5, and it's so easy to adapt when you're young.
It is, like you can learn a language just like that.
Yes. And you have no memories of Congo, like someone can just like take you from South. Like when you're young, you're not sentimental, you don't hold on to things.
No,
I'm
not that
like when you're
person.
young, like you can move across the country. And
I was very much carefree. One thing I would say though, I haven't completely forgotten my culture, where I came from. I mean, my mother embodies where I come from. She still speaks language like French and Lingala, so we're used to
French?
that. Yeah, but the
I know I'm not, because I
like,
won't hear you.
I'm not that good. I feel like English has become that main, like language for me. I will listen and hear French. I'll say some things, but some things I don't pick up anymore because I'm also trying to learn Afrikaans. So it's quite something.
And then you went to Hankey, which is here in the Eastern Cape, right?
Yes, Hankey is just a border away from Humansdorp and Port Elizabeth. It's a very nice place, very nice place, civilized, with a lot of colors. So you could say that's where I picked up my Afrikaans. And people there are very kind. Everyone knows who's who. Like, you walk from one street to another.
That's the beauty about coming from a small town. Like, everybody
thing.
knows who is who.
Like, my mom, people will be like, "Oh, Prophetess child," and I'm like, I don't even know you.
So going to that, like, now you're in Port Elizabeth, but we're not going to speak about that now. So you are a youth leader at yes, and your mother is also a leader there. So are you a leader just because your mom? Is it a privilege?
No. If I say no, people will be like, "Hi, it's an honor." Yes, it's an honor for me. But I've made that choice to grow, and glow with Christ from a very young age. I've seen the things He's done for myself, with people around me, and I never thought I would be a youth leader. I used to be that person when you're choosing someone, to be placed on a pedestal. Don't choose me. I'm just gonna support. And then this one, my mom was like, you're so much there for kids. You're out there, you're showing compassion. You want to inspire. And I became youth leader, and I didn't be like, oh yeah. I was like, wow. Gives me a platform to keep doing what I'm doing. Doesn't mean having a title like that means I need to somehow shape up. I've already been growing in Christ, so all I gotta do is keep doing what I'm doing at my best. So yeah, it is a responsibility, but it's pretty cool.
So your mom is a prophetess, and I believe that, like you just said, that when you were walking across the street in Hankey, and like people would just like wave at you, and they know you because of your mom.
I mean, there's this term people use in this age, PK.
Yes,
like
a pastor's kid, a preacher's kid, a pastor's
and then
kid.
it's always like they think you're holy, or you have to be good and all that.
Yes, I'm gonna ask you about that. And people like set certain standards or expectation, like for you to live up. And I want to ask you, how has that like influenced the young man that you are today? Because a lot of people would look at you like, you can't be doing that because your mother is
every time.
Yes.
But that was before, I feel like it's more motivational. Let me say this. Pressure is applied,
But it's good pressure.
It's good pressure. I mean, like diamonds come from a mine. Pressure is applied and it's refined. And that's something I go by, the whole pressure of not just having that reputation, but setting a standard and being a standard is important to me. So I never felt like it was some burden or to intend for peer pressure. I only felt like, you know what, you're saying I'm there. I'm going to live bigger than that expectation. Be myself, but also try and exceed that expectation of being a PK child. Not living under that shadow of a PK child, but showing that I can live with each and every one around me and still be able to be myself and inspire the faith that I have in them.
Okay, so it wasn't even you becoming a prefect at school. It was not because like you were doing what you're supposed to do because like your mother is a prophetess. It was something that you.
I'm gonna say this. She's strict. I don't know if she's listening, but she's super strict. She's like law and order, law and order, but in a good way. Being a prefect was not easy. Wow, it was not easy. Only because of the workload in Matric, as you know. But it was also another great privilege. I love being a prefect. Being able to put a smile on a teacher, like it's a birthday and he's being appraised in front of the office, and he's like, wow. Or being able to be like, hey, I stopped that, you're better than this. So it was a great responsibility with flaws, but then most importantly it was amazing, especially with the people that I had around me in Westering, so it was good.
So moving along, you're also a dancer, you also dance. So, like, how do you judge your dancing? Like, can you dance any particular dance, or you have to, like, consciously remember?
I was about to say anything. I'm like, whoa! I just thought about the ballet. I'm not that good at ballet. I feel like I can do anything that I put my mind into when it comes to dance. Be it ballroom, be it hip hop, be it what do you guys like, kwaito and house, afro. I can do it all, you know. But they say you could be a jack of all trades, but only one thing that you could really, really like improve and go far with, and that, in that case, for me, it's hip hop and freestyle. You know, so I feel like I started dancing when I was like 15 years old. People think I was dancing since I was like. No.
So you were not that kid, like.
No, I was left-footed. I was very much left-footed, but then I lost my grandmother at the age of 15 to brain cancer. 20 years of fighting brain cancer, and then she loved music, and I felt connected with her through music, and that's why I started playing drums and keyboard. That's why I started dancing, and she always used to tell me when she was in France on the phone every time. We never got to see her. She'd be like, "Live for your dreams, you know, keep inspiring, keep taking care of the people around you." And I'm like, you know what? I'm starting to move, and I feel like I can go far with this. I don't need money for this, you know, as long as I'm able to instill passion. And then first event was at our school in grade 9. It was a talent show which we won as a group. And from then on, I'm like, yo, I made so many people happy. Carry on doing this. Yeah.
Okay, so how's it going now?
Now I'm at a studio like you said in my bio at Newton Park, Waika Street, number 24. Janice Goodyear is the lady that I'm not working. We are family, but I'm gonna be, just to be formal, I'm gonna be like I'm working under, and it's all, you know, young girls there go from the age of 3 and 4, 7 and 8, and 11 and 14. And what I do is I teach them freestyle. But this past few months I've been helping them with the ballet, like mobility, and all that. I'm not a ballet dancer, but I've tried to learn theory, so I'm like, you know what, I've done a lot to learn about this. Let me help these kids. So yeah, but I'm still, you know, having sessions. I'll tell my friends, let's have a freestyle station, let's have a hip hop station. You know, you never know, there might be a show. Actually, there is a show coming, and then maybe, you know, you just rock up and do your thing.
So as a son of a prophetess, and you do freestyle, so which means you can move whatever way you want to move. Don't you like feel restricted in certain things that you do?
Restricted with dance itself, or
with dance and listening to hip hop as well? And
I do. I mean, like, in this Asian generation, we're so used to trap music, you know. I'm gonna be honest, worldly song and all that, and usually it's hard not just to get a market, but to get people to be interested in what you do. And I normally dance to instrumentals. I love dancing to instrumentals.
Okay.
Like beats. I'm all about beats actually, and jazz. So I've become more drawn into freestyling because, you know, I don't sit on the fence. You know, sitting on the fence is whether you're in the world or you're with Christ. I prefer being in one direction for Christ. So I don't feel restricted now, but I used to feel like whenever we have a concert or something, you have to dance to a certain song that's, you know, worldly and stuff. And then, just like you said, people start pointing fingers, hey,
yes,
it's a PK, and all that and stuff. But I don't dance for the music, for the people. I really dance for what God's glory is to bring, you know.
Okay. And earlier on, you did say that dancing is just like a passion. It's not something that you intend to make a living or earn a living.
Yes, it's not. I don't want to think that way. It will go off-track from the goal that I have of always instilling passion. I believe once you start thinking something as talent to gain money or to gain something like that, you lose the whole going thing. And then when people don't pitch up or people don't like pay and stuff, you get frustrated for yourself. You're like, oh, this is not helping me. So
yes,
it really is a passion. You could say it's a hobby just to be safe and be like, oh, he does it in his free time or something like that. But it really is a passion for me.
Yes, and you did say that like what inspired you to dance or made you dance was your grandmother.
Yes.
And you lost your grandmother. How was that? How was going through like
Yo.
losing your grandmother? Because
Just
it's
imagine this,
hard.
guys. Your hero, someone you've grown up loving all your life, someone you were so passionate to see, because you never got to see, she never got to hold you as a child because she was traveling. And then in your mind, you're like, I'm going to see her soon, or she's going to come and see me soon, and then boom, one morning you wake up and they say she's dead, she died. So it was hard for me, but there's a saying that goes, people leave this earth, but the memory is still in your mind, in your heart, and that still, gives you that whole sense of feeling home inside. I really couldn't explain it that whole year, even till this day. I was still crying when I hear something about brain cancer or grandma going through something. It will really hurt me because it's one of those deep burdens that I don't really open up to people. It really is a burden for me because most people move along. I couldn't move along because I'm still like, yo, I want to see her so badly. Even now, I want to go to France and be like, pay my respect to her and do all that. I feel like once I do that, I'll probably find the peace in me.
Yes, find
All the
closure.
glories to God, Yeah.
Okay, so it must be hard, like having family but not able to see them. Like,
Oh,
I
yes.
can't imagine because they're like.
Everyone now is my uncle and my auntie. They're not even family now. We're like auntie, uncle. Yeah, it's pretty
Yo,
cool.
I can't imagine that. That alone is a pain on its own. So now, I want to know, like, you are a youth leader at church,
Yeah,
and most importantly, like, you have to live by example
it's true.
and set an example to the younger generation and everyone else who is looking up to you.
Yes.
So I want you to take me through your faith with God. Like, when was the time that you realized, okay, God is really here? Maybe you have like a testimony or something.
Oh,
And you knew that, okay, it's not the God that my mother usually speaks about or the God that I grew up going to church to, but I have experienced in myself and something that that God pulled through and like people would.
do you know what goes along that? People say that you know love once you experience love. And for me, you could say it's similar to that. People speak about love, but you don't really know love until you encounter love. And that was for me. I heard so much about God, so much about Jesus.
Yes, and it
I
becomes real
encountered
when
him.
you experience Him
Yes,
for
that's true.
yourself.
That's true. That's very true. When I was about to say every day, but that's not answering your question. So I would say around grade 8, 7, grade 7. I don't want to go deep into this, but I faced bullying all my primary school life, being from a different country and all that, and I had a moment where I was in my room and I was crying. I'm very good at hiding my emotions, and I was crying.
And it's something bad because I think like young
Yes.
men or men are taught that,
Very good.
which
and
is bad.
It is. I feel like when a man opens up, they're much more easier to just embrace the world with more compassion.
Yes.
Yeah, but this world put statuses and stuff and be like, yo, a man must be a man, don't cry and all that.
Yes, I think we should like be a generation and
Yes.
that breaks those
We need to
certain
break
cycles.
those. Yes, the generational curses we really do. But I encountered Christ in grade 7 and in a room crying, and I was asking God, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this. I never retaliated. That's one thing about me. I don't retaliate. I don't fight fire with fire unless I am praying. Prayer warrior mode. Then I'm fighting fire. But in a moment I was like, God, I'm losing myself. I really am. And I went the next day, and the next day I was promoted to prefect, and then 2 hours after being promoted as prefect, I got second grade position. It was a very, I don't know, not orthodox, like it was, I don't know, nonchalant, is that the word? I'm not sure, but it was so surreal, and then afterwards my teacher was giving me a letter, and it's like, you and the head boy are going to be going to East London at the end of the year, and to this dream big and all that type of stuff, and I was like, whoa, this is my day. I prayed to God. I told God, you said you were for me, and show me that you're for me, because I'm tired. And He showed me He is for me. I got all those honor and provisions, but I remember with something my mom said at the time. Life will hit you to the curb and expect you to stay down. Keep rising up, and I kept rising up. And the more I started meditating and trying to get to know God, because it does say seek God and everything shall be given to you. And I kept seeking, I kept sinking. There were times where I was like, I'm tired of this. But then I feel like my whole life has been an encounter with Christ, since birth, since moving here. I've had an encounter with Christ. I feel like He's been setting me on the path. And sometimes I don't understand where I'm going, but eventually when I'm like, God, what's happening? He's like, keep going. You're on that track. Keep on going.
And He always shows you direction. And
it's true. It's really true.
So, okay, there's somewhere in your bio that spoke about psychology. Okay, so you are now currently in line applicant to study psychology. And earlier on, we were speaking about you were studying law.
Yeah,
and then
legal studies.
And then you decided to change career and like go to psychology.
Most people will be like, oh, was it hard? No, it wasn't hard. I mean, like, follow your heart, follow your dreams. I know we all want that suit. We all want to be doctors and all that. But let's be realistic. It's good to follow goals, to try for it. But I felt like my passion was really kids. Someone in the back is probably saying hi, but you could be the kids lawyer. But for me, it was like, I'm doing all these things, playing sport, dancing, I love traveling, and I felt like, just because I want to travel, just because I want to impact more people around the world one day, hopefully so. I'm praying for this pandemic to be shut down for good. I want to travel, I want to get out there and impact more kids out there. I don't have all the financials for it, but I believe God, when He sees you going for something that is of good will, He's going to do everything to help you in that course. So yeah, I took psychology so I can just understand the human mind more. I feel like right now, I can counsel anyone that I come across. I always do that. But I feel like I need to get more in depth with it, understand truly what it is. Have that certificate. We all need that certificate just to say, oh, you're allowed to go this place, or you're allowed to do this. So that's why.
Let's talk about this passion for kids. Where does it come from? Like, I think
babysitting.
I think I need more than that, because a lot of people do love kids. Like,
yeah, I genuinely love kids. You know me, every Sunday I'm always carrying a baby. Like, if I see a baby, I carry a baby and I'm like, I want to make this baby sleep. That's my goal. I'll be listening to this someone at the same time I'm taking care of the baby.
And I think this passion for kids, it also aligns with the fact that you're also a youth leader.
Yeah.
I want you to.
Before I even became a youth leader, I believe I became a youth leader because I love kids. That was one of the things, and also faithfully anchored by kids.
And you even changed careers for kids.
I'll do everything for them. The thing is,
I'm gonna ask you this, and I want to ask you.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you said you went through a lot of bullying when you were in primary?
Yes.
So I want to ask you, do you feel like you needed like a big brother or whatever figure that was like someone older than you that could like protect you from whatever that was going on around you? And do you want to be that person to the kids? Does it go like that? Or
my teacher said this to me when we had this talk about, bullying and stuff. She was like, you have too much pride. You're not able to just let someone know that you're going through things. And that was me. I'll go through all that and I won't go home and be like, yo, this. No.
But did you want someone to step up and do something?
I really did. I had two friends at that time who stepped up for me. The head boy, his name was Papelele, and the other person was Shonela Tana, and they really stepped up for me. Like, there was this group who always used to like tease me and stuff, and they were like, yo, what's up, bro? Don't be like that, And I felt secure in that sense, to be honest. And as for my passion for kids, I didn't know I'll be opening up this much on radio. But 3 weeks old, I went for a surgery, and a surgery in my brain and stuff like that, because the water breaks early and stuff like that, and I inhaled some tubes in me and all that. And my mother was very prayerful. She tells this story to church almost almost every month, just to show what God can really do. And me hearing the stories, and I was like, God gave me back life, and I want to give back life to so many kids out there. People will be like, oh, that is like a small reason. I'm like, it means the world to me. I'm alive because God decided to see this 3 weeks old kid and be like, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, I won't say 3 weeks old, but it's just 2 weeks, 2 weeks kid, and be like, yo, I'm going to give this kid a chance, an opportunity. So I'm like, why can't I do the same for them? I mean, like, we're going through so much in this world, politics and all that. We always look at, it's adults, but no, it starts there. It starts very young. It starts as the roots. So I'm like, if I can impact the roots to be better than the next generation, do something greater than the previous.
Which is all yes.
Yeah.
God is good.
It's true.
So as a youth leader, and you say that you cancel people.
Cancel.
Did you not say
Oh, cancel. Oh, my bad.
No, it doesn't cancel.
You said cancel.
No, you cancel people.
Yes, I do.
So I want to know, like,
Yes,
if okay, so I'm this young kid at church, and I come to
Yes.
you, and then yeah, imagine canceling people.
Yo, I cancel you. Just
So so
you constant.
so I come to you with
Yes.
with a problem that is faith based, and it needs like an intervention, like from you to encourage me about Christ or
Yeah.
anything. So what do you say to people who ask you, like, who is this
First thing.
God?
First thing first, that seek ye first, the kingdom of God is very important. Most people jump into a conversation based on experience. I don't like doing that, I don't want to be that guy who has many good words, but then the person can't deliver because it was way too much, sugarcoating. So what I do is we pray about it first, I'm like, you can't get any answer without praying. So now I can't hold hands and be like, let's pray. So we'll be like, let's bow down. We pray about it, and when you pray, you're speaking to God, you're communicating with Him. You let God know this person has a problem, and you notice when someone's heart just settles, the way they came to you changes after that prayer. They're like, yeah, so I'm listening to you. And then first thing I tell them, what can you do about it? You might have a problem, and you need to make that impression that that person can deal with it, because one day you're not going to be around, and what you're going to do, you can't do anything. You might not be in contact with that person. So I think my main example in life is to help someone empower themselves, get themselves out of that void, show them the signs, and help them out. So how I go about it is really natural. I don't plan it or somehow like gimmick it. I just go with the flow. I'm like, God lead, and He leads, But sometimes all you're looking for is for closure for someone. They feel like, it's about experience to talk to. Sometimes all you gotta do is listen to them. Listen to what they have to say, and just let them know, assure them they are significant, and try to help them in various areas. Maybe that person was very hungry, got frustrated, and came to you, and all you could do, like, hey, can I get you something to eat? And they'll be like hesitant, no, it's on me, and afterwards they feel really good.
Okay, so before we wrap this up, I'm gonna ask you 2 questions. The first one is, do you have like a Bible verse that like relates to your life? Your favorite Bible? Yes. Like the one that like, even when I would ask you while you're sleeping. No, you can't. They have to be like, okay, you don't have one.
I have one each month, that I'll be honest with you.
Okay, so this month, what's the theme?
Romans 8:18. I'm gonna make it real simple so everyone knows it. It goes to say that through the suffering that you go through, it can never compare to the glory that God is going to bring to you, for you, and in you.
So this month, what is happening? What made you choose that scripture?
Yeah, I've been through a lot, We've all been through a lot, I know a lot of us keep repeating the pandemic, we're trying to move away from it, but it's reality. It happened. A lot of things, friendships lost, loved one lost, and all that. And some of us are stressing, with even just things like varsity and stuff. And I felt like, through this suffering, the glory of God is preparing for all of us, for us, in us. It's really important to look, to look beyond and be like optimistic and be like, I know He's for me. I ain't gonna give up.
Okay, the last question you just summed up and answered the last question as well.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yes,
What was the last question?
good. The last question was like, what do you have to say to someone who is going through something?
Yeah,
And then you
say that.
went to that.
Yes.
Do you have any last comments that you want to share, or anything that
everyone?
Yes, or anything that I might have missed and you wanted to talk about it?
I don't know.
Okay, so
I feel like one thing I do want to say is, because today I was at my old school, I go there every Tuesday. They have Bible Aid, and I preach to a class. They give me a class, and I preach to them. And one thing I told them is finding purpose, and finding purpose requires you to know who you are to God and what God can do with you and what you can do with God. So I think my ideal goal, or what I want to impact with everyone today, is that to know that once you find your purpose, once you're looking for a way forward, keep your eyes to God, and He is going to show you the way. You might see it in the most unorthodox way, in the most weird, but God it can be crazy sometimes, how crazy. He'll put storms just for you to see the way, and that's just how He shows His love, that He's so unconditional and so absolute. And also listen to Gyro by Matriculated music. That song is amazing.
And you promoting.
Yes. I mean, if you listen to the song, I promise you're gonna be like, that guy, you knew his song. The song has been, wow, it's been on my mind.
Okay, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me.
For honoring the invite.
Yes.
Okay, that was Isreal Simba. And I want to know why when you named Isreal.
Isreal Simba.
Your name is Simba.
Yes. Oh, hey, this is a lot of. I'm opening a lot today. I don't know.
Before we let you go, because we're gonna quickly let you go.
So yes, my other sibling's name is Joel. It's in Book of Judges. Justice is my younger brother. So we all got Bible names, and it's significant. Israel, Hebrew, it means Prince of Peace. So my mom felt like once I went through all that, there was sudden peace. And I believe I've grown to be that person who yearns for peace. So yeah, I don't know how I can explain it. Maybe one day I'll be more brief about it. But yeah, I feel like peace is what I live for.
Okay, and you're gonna bring peace to all the children that you
so,
want to influence.
I mean, I might not bring to all, but as many as I can,
yes,
I'll be happy.
Okay, that was Isreal Simba, and time is 2 minutes to the hour of 4 on the 30th of March 2021. And if you have just joined us, you're more than welcome to go and listen to this interview on our website, which is www.agapeonlineradio.com. Please don't miss it out. And it is also time for me to say my goodbyes. It's a good day, a God bless, and y'all see you guys tomorrow. Same time and same place. It is Agape FM, and my name is Talia.
Awesome.
So we're gonna play you I Keep Winning by Dr. Toomey. Please do enjoy.
That's a song.
You love that song?
Yes. I was going to sing along. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. I'm going to stick this on my bucket list. Radio experience done.